How much can you make being an Uber driver? Let's talk about that now. Before we dig in though, a quick word from one of our partners that provides a really valuable service in case you're ever deactivated for a background check error.
Thanks, guys. I'm excited to be working with the RideShare Guy again. My firm has been helping Uber and Lyft drivers who've been denied employment because of background checks. We've helped literally hundreds of consumers all around the country who've lost a rideshare job because of a false background check. If this has happened to you, please give us a call at 888-822-1777 or visit our website at www.smithmarco.com. Thanks again. We're looking forward to helping you.
Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to the RideShare Guy. And if you're clicking this video, you're probably wondering, how much do Uber drivers actually make? So we're going to go over a lot of different things when it comes to how much a driver could potentially make and some of the variances between what you might think as a W-2 job where you have an hourly rate versus being able to go on and off whenever you want. And if you're thinking about becoming a driver, check the links in the description below. It'll help you sign up and you can become a driver and see for yourself. And then let us know how much money you're making per hour or per shift per week and tell us what you think. Now, the answer is actually a lot more complicated than you might think. It's going to vary on a lot of different factors. First and foremost, the market that you're in. How busy is it? Are you in a college town? Are you in a big city? Are you in a rural area? All of those are going to vary on how much you're going to make. If you're in a rural area or even a college town, you're probably going to be making less than, say, LA or New York City, where there's a lot of people and it's always busy. And so there's several different factors. Not only that, it's also going to depend on the time of day you go out. So if you go out during the day, it might be slow, but at night, it might be really busy. So it's always going to come down onto what is best in your market on how much you can actually earn and maximize those earnings. Then it's going to come down to what type of car do you drive? Do you drive something that's going to fall under Uber X, Uber XL, which means you can take more people because you have more seats in the car? Does it fall for Uber Comfort, which is a newer, little bit more spacious vehicle, which has a little bit higher rates than Uber X? Are you going to qualify for Uber Black or something with more of a luxury car? All of those are going to have different prices and pay points of what the driver is going to make out on the road. Now, no matter the ride you take, whether it's X, XL, Black, Comfort, whatever it might be, the pay is going to pretty much be the same. The rates are going to be what's different. So Uber pays based on time and mileage. However long somebody's in your car is the time that you're going to get paid for with the rate it's associated with in your market and the type of ride that it is. And then the distance and the mileage is going to be from pickup to drop off and how far you traveled during that ride. And again, the rates are going to differ market to market and ride to ride, but it's always going to come down to time and mileage. Uber has also something called a long pickup fee. So even if you don't have somebody in the car, you might get a long pickup fee if it's beyond a certain time frame or distance, depending on your market. Again, all markets are different, so a long pickup fee is going to vary from market to market. But that is a time when you get paid, again, time and mileage based on after you've hit that distance or time on your own particular market. And that'll get calculated in the total of that particular fare. There's other things like bonuses, streak bonuses. So if you give so many rides in a row, you'll get X amount of dollars, and that's going to be varying depending on the time of day, the market, whatever promotion is going on at that time. Also, promotions that they might be offering for the week, like quest bonuses. How many rides can you give in a time frame? So in my market, I have two right now. I have ones on the weekdays and I have ones on the weekends. And this is all calculated on how many drivers are in your market, how many rides they expect to happen for that week or weekend, and they're going to kind of calculate it based on that. There's probably a lot more that goes into it, but that's pretty much the basics. Then there's also this wonderful thing called Surge. So if you open up your app and you're online and all of a sudden you see $4, $4.50, $8, $17, that will actually be applied to the ride that you're going to take next. and it's called surge. It's dynamic pricing. So that means if there are more rides coming in than there are drivers on the road, you're going to get paid extra for that same ride that if it would have been at no surge. So that's another thing that you can look at when it comes to making extra money. Now, this is going to vary again, depending on market. So if you have a market that is more entertainment based, well, it's probably going to be busier after those events get out. If you have something like a market that is more college based, well, it's when college kids are going to and from classes at the bulk of it, or if they're going out and having fun. So they're going to the bars at night or something. If you live in a rural area, well, you might not see that really at all. You could see that at times, but overall, you might not really see it. And then in major cities, you might see that during rush hours. So morning rush hour, afternoon rush hour, nights, weekends, when things are busy, when events are going on. There's going to be a lot more going on in city centers and cities versus rural areas, college towns, and a lot of different factors are going to vary that. All right, now that we have all of the pay rates and the bonuses and promotions out of the way, you might be asking, yeah, well, how much do I get paid per hour? And again, this is going to vary market to market, and it could be wide swings. Obviously, somebody in a city is going to make much more than somebody in a rural area, or even a college town that's just basically a college town. But when Uber surveyed all of its drivers across the US, it found that on average, drivers are earning $19 per hour. Now, drivers in, say, New York City are looking about $30 an hour. Drivers in LA are looking about $28 to $32 an hour. In my market in Buffalo, New York, we're looking about $28 to $32 an hour as well. So it's all going to depend on several different factors, but it's going to basically come down to how many rides are coming in, how many drivers are out on the road, and the times that you're out and taking rides. And remember one thing, you're not getting paid when you're sitting there waiting for a ride to come in or even on the way to pick up a rider. You're getting paid when the rider is in the car or on the long pickup fee. So again, there's going to be times when you're online that you're not going to get paid. So you're going to see two different times. You're going to see online time and you're going to see booked time. And when I figure out my calculations, I always want to use online time because that's the time that I go online, the time I'm waiting for a ride, the time I'm going to pick somebody up, and also the time I have somebody in the car. Now, when I do that for my market, usually I average between 30 and 35 an hour. But let's go over some of the generals that you can kind of assume to be mostly true. And let's talk about that. Now, when it comes to the average Uber driver, most drivers are doing this part-time, 10 hours or less per week. So it's fair to say you could probably look at an extra $200 to $300 per week. And again, this is going to be varying dependent on the market, but you're probably going to look at that for the most part. Now, for full-time driving, you probably could get around $1,000 or so a week. And it's going to vary depending on how often you go out. You could go out for 40 hours and call full-time. And there's other drivers out there that are going 70, 80 hours a week and calling that full-time. So it's all going to depend on how often you want to go out. And yeah, some drivers are making $1,000 or even $2,000 a week, but they're also putting in the time. And if you're somebody who is evaluating becoming an Uber driver and looking to sign up, well, check the link in the description below because some markets are offering sign-on bonuses and some of them are quite substantial. So you want to take advantage of any sign-on bonus that there might be. Again, link is going to be in the description below. So what I talk about that there, this is going to be gross pay. And that is going to be before gas, before expenses. Remember, you are using your car to drive. So that means all of the wear and tear and the gas and anything associated with expenses when it comes to being a driver, that's going to be on you to pay. So your gross pay and your net pay are obviously going to be different. And that is going to be something that you want to take into effect. And depending on how often you're driving, if you're like most who are part-time doing it 10 hours or less, well, you're probably not going to be putting on a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle compared to somebody who is driving 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. They're going to be putting a lot more miles on their car. They're going to be having a lot more maintenance on their car. So it's all going to vary depending on how often you drive and a lot of different factors there too. But Also, remember, gas. Gas is a big expense. So do what you can to try to make sure you are doing well when it comes to gas and taking advantage of different programs that there are out there, like Get Upside. There's a link in the description below. If you haven't heard of Get Upside, check it out because you can save money at the pump. Now that we got a lot of the different factors that can influence how much you could personally make as an Uber driver, I'm going to share how much I make as a driver. Now, for me personally, I drive part-time. I drive at night. I calculate it using online time versus book time for the whole week because obviously days can vary from, say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday versus Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're obviously going to make a difference from the weekends to the weekdays, especially at night when I go out. But overall, when I break it down on a weekly basis, I usually average between 30 and 35 an hour. Some weeks it's less. Some weeks I've seen 20 an hour. Other weeks I've seen 40, 45 an hour. So it's really going to come down to what's going on in your market, how many people are getting rides, how many drivers there are, and what types of rides you're getting. So all of that will influence how much you make as an Uber driver. So if you're looking to become an Uber driver, then make sure you click the link in the description below and see what you can make for a sign-on bonus and give it a try. Not only that, let me know how much are you making a week, whether you're a new driver or somebody who's just starting or even a veteran driver. What are you making per week? And also make sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified when new videos come out. We have new videos every single week, and we talk about many of the different tips and tricks that you can use to maximize your earnings as a gig worker, as well as any updates or changes that are going on. And we also evaluate many different platforms there are. So it's not just Uber, it could be Lyft, Doordash. There's so many out there right now. So it's all about what you like and what fits you and your schedule. All right, everybody, drive safe.